Now what comes after or what came before? You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump. And you might think, what if I fall? Well, what if you don't? What if you fly?
Hello, people. So, welcome to our official first episode of Don't Compromise podcast, where entertainment and Christianity meets. We will dig into the lives and journeys of industry professionals while getting into their spiritual business. I hope we can give you some form of insight if you're pursuing the entertainment industry or building your relationship with Christ. Me and my friends / co-hosts will be telling you about our time and our struggles working in the industry as a whole and as Christians. So this episode is called Humble Beginnings, and I'll be having a dear friend of mine joining us today. But before we get into it, let's hop into a quick prayer, nothing too deep, as we're just getting to know each other. I will begin, okay? Heavenly Father, I humbly come to you and I thank you for making this happen. I thank you for the people's lives that will be touched. We thank you for your plans that you have for this platform, and we ask that you speak through us so we can make a difference in someone's lives. Thank you for being a waymaker and a promise keeper. Your word says that you won't leave us nor forsake us. I pray that everyone under the sound of my voice is protected by the promises of Psalms 91. In your name we pray, amen. So I'm introducing my first guest. So one of my closest friends is Jonathan, my first guest, to join me for my humble beginnings in this, as he was a part of my humble beginnings in real life.
Real humble.
Real humble, meaning I used to sleep on his couch. But yeah, so maybe you can jump in and tell the people a little bit about you and where you from.
Yeah, hi people. I'm from South Florida. Actually, me and Sasha grew up very close to each other, but we didn't meet until we were both living in LA in our early 20s. So when I graduated college, I moved to New York. Throughout college, I had internships in entertainment. I always knew I wanted to work in entertainment. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, so I worked on some production stuff. I did some marketing stuff for concerts, and when I graduated college, I moved to New York, and I worked for a movie studio. I actually still don't know what I want to do now that I'm telling this story, but I left New York, I moved to LA, and that is the job I started where I met Sasha. And I worked as an assistant doing day-to-day for a celebrity, and I was there for 7 years, and now I've been at my current job for about 2 years, doing the same thing, kind of, just on a different scale. But I'm not going to badmouth anyone today. So yeah, that's kind of my story.
That's good. That's good. I feel like you do much more than what the quote-unquote titles.
Yeah, I don't really believe in titles when it comes to working really closely with celebrities, and personally, it's you're literally everything. Some days I'm the assistant, some days I'm the manager, some days I'm the publicist, some days I'm the stylist. Yesterday I was the goddamn maid.
Exactly. It's multi-quote-unquote faceted, but at the end of the day, it's just making things happen.
Yeah, I think it's just being able to anticipate people's needs, and it's really important to keep celebrities and creatives being creative. They're here to do something very different than what I'm here for. So I love supporting people who have a bigger purpose and have a big influence on popular culture and society, and seeing my boss on stage performing to a whole stadium of people, proud in that moment, knowing that I was a part of that. And at least for a few hours, we were able to take people from their everyday stresses and transport them into a different world for a little bit. That's what I love the most about supporting an artist or a celebrity.
I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Maybe we could share a little bit about when we first met.
When we first met, wow. So Sasha came to interview at the job that I was at. I had already been there for 2 years. And she came, she interviewed, she's super cute. We realized that we were both from Florida and that we both lived close to each other in LA. And we were like, we both had just moved from New York. We like were living the same lives, then hadn't met each other yet.
Mm-hmm.
So after her interview was over, I walked her to the elevator. And what did I say to you? I was like, hey, thanks so much for coming. But, what did I say?
You were like, this job is probably not what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
But, you weigh out your options and, you let me know what you think. If you need anything, just call me.
I'm just like a guidance counselor to everybody. So I'm literally like trying to tell her, like, girl, you do not want to come work here.
Right.
A Jamaican will not survive here. You're going to blow the place up. Like,
literally, I feel like for the whole, 7-8 months that I was there, he always kept mentioning, remember that time when I walked you to the elevator?
She was mad. I said, remember when I walked you to the elevator? I told you not to take this job. I told you. I try. I really try. Like, I am never offering advice for me or because I think, like, I'm the smartest person in the room. I'm literally always trying to help everybody, and they don't. So that's why she was mad for 7 months, and that's why she blacked out and can't even remember her last day, and had to block the whole company because they was looking for her.
Yeah, but I'm still working on that. But I feel like I've grown from that short period of time in my life, and I also literally feel like I was put there, and we just got close, and that's pretty much the reason why I had that job. And also, it kind of did set me up for the following.
It did. In a short time, I think you learned a lot about what you don't want.
Exactly.
Because there was a lot of wrongs being done in that moment. So we saw a lot of things go bad in your 6 months.
Yeah, it was really bad. But it was also a great experience. And I feel like we learned from everything.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, but we weren't that bad anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't have lasted that short period of time either. So that's another thing. It was like you were offered like butterflies and roses and cupcakes and donuts. And then the day that you turn up for work, everything turns into like dragonflies and roaches.
Hello?
Rats.
Mm-hmm.
And like moldy pizza.
Ew.
That's literally what happened. But anyway, we won't talk too much about that. We won't bash anyone. Everyone's lovely now and moved on, and we're great. But okay, so I wanted to kind of dabble in from that. Obviously, you talked about, your journey or whatever in that job and just in the industry in general. And I'm wondering, like, do you feel like because of your experience within your religion that you depend at all on your religious beliefs while you're at work?
No, it definitely is. I mean, I'm not drinking baby blood, but, working with anybody personal, not just in entertainment, you're going to have to kind of compromise your beliefs in some way to keep the job. Like, you have to be able to separate the world. So that's something very important for me. I understand every day I get to work, I'm stepping into someone else's world. It is not my reality.
Right.
And when I leave the big mansion and the pearly gates, I know that I'm back in the streets.
Right.
In my life. Like, I leave it right there at work and I pick it back up the next day.
Right.
So I'm working 12, 15 hours a day thinking one way. So it's hard to kind of just automatically shut off how I handle things at work versus my personal life. So they definitely do collide. But as I get older, I'm realizing what my true values are. Like who I really am as a person, my true character, the things that are important to me. And as many like evil people staying in entertainment and not paying people and sleeping with people to get jobs. And it almost has made me a better person because I take all those things and I'm like, I see who I don't want to be. I see things that are not right. And even though I'm just one person, I'm always trying to make the right decision.
Right.
And sometimes it's something I'm conflicted with because the right decision does sometimes go against what would benefit my boss the most. But my thought is that if I can get everyone else in line and everyone else happy, whoever I'm working for will fall into place.
Right.
So by building up my whole team and everybody around the celebrity will ultimately make them a better person. At least that's what I think in my head. That's how I justify it.
Right. So do you think that, because I personally know you, obviously. I feel like, yeah, I could tell you what I think after, but I am wondering, like, do you think working in the entertainment industry has kind of, at all of this time, and now that you're older, do you feel like working in the entertainment industry has made you come closer to God or depend a little bit more on God or trust in God a little bit more, or the opposite?
I think I'm still trying to figure that out. Because my journey through entertainment, I mean, like the biggest journey through that was graduating college and a week later moving to New York with 2 bags and my family thinking I was going on vacation and then never coming back, and then leaving New York and flying to LA for the first time on a Friday and having to start my new job that following Monday and living in a hotel for a month. And I always thought like I was in it. I was all by myself. I was in it for myself. Like I was just put my credit card down at the hotel and I rented a car and I was like, you know what? It's just me, myself, and I. That's all I got. And in the end, so for me, I always thought it's me. All I got is me. But as I get older, I wonder like maybe if God was guiding me through that. So that's something I'm trying to figure out now.
That's fair. I feel like for me, obviously, I'll just piggyback off of it a little bit because I've always had a relationship with God, and I feel like most of us have.
Yeah, I went to Sunday school.
Yes, exactly. But still, and growing up now, I felt like all the stuff that I thought I learned in Sunday school, I didn't necessarily learn, or I don't remember, or it didn't stay within my brain. I feel like the older that I've gotten, the closer I've gotten to God. And because this industry will drive you to drink, you kind of have to find what your solitude is or what your foundation is or what stays consistent. For me, that's my trust in God. And I know that even with my last role, I get what you're saying about compromising when it came to your beliefs because of your bosses. But for me, luckily, thank God, I know He put me with the right person who I was working with previously because they also had God as a support for them. And I feel like because of each other, we were able to kind of build a closer relationship with God in some places, probably more for me than it was for them.
Right.
But I feel like it's made me get even closer to God because I see all the crazy stuff. I want to be shielded from the stuff. And I feel like everything that the Bible said would happen in the last days is happening. And you see it front row and center in the entertainment industry, in my opinion, with certain things, whether it's shows or working on shows or working in music and the demonic stuff that you see. I feel like for me, I was able to jump in and lose myself in a sense, where is now I'm like, I'm finding me and I'm working on me. And I know that for me, it's just coming back to God. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what works for me. But what do you think your relationship with God is like?
It's either God or it's the devil is somebody.
Okay.
I don't know if it's as I get older, I'm able to be even more intuitive and then I know what's going to happen before it happens. But I feel like, even like I was telling you the other day, every time I'm doing certain things that I'm not proud of, I'll hear from certain people who have a very close relationship with God.
Right.
So as of late, and we talked about this before we was even on mic, but as of lately, I've been trying to figure out, like, is that God trying to, like, guide me and save me and show me signs? Because can He just tell me?
The thing is, and I don't want to sound like Bible thumper or anything like that, but I feel like I've learned myself from, like, the more you yearn for that relationship with God and to hear from God and kind of read the Bible. And I didn't understand that at first when you would tell me, like, if you read the Bible, you'll hear from God. But it does make sense. And what a pastor told me recently, actually, I told him, I was like, I hear the devil clearly, but with God, it's very much a whisper. And I'm not sure, right? And
Right.
I'm only here to be honest, but I'm just saying, like, for me, like, the devil could just be like, da-da-da-da-da, right? And with God, it's like that. And what he said to me was like, the more you read the Bible, the more you kind of understand things that God would say. That sounds probably weird, but to, like, actually say, but he was like, you know the voice of God the more you read the Bible.
Right.
So, and I feel like that is true. I'm not going to say, like, hopefully a few months from now, my answer will be different. But I feel like even still, like, you know, For the most part, I know when it's God, but I'm always still kind of second guessing. But the devil, I can hear clear. Like, for instance, I didn't even know someone else that obviously has a much better relationship with God than I do said to me, what happened to me is I'm usually in a state of like half awake, half asleep when I hear quote unquote things. Some random Bible verse. I can't tell you exactly what it was because it was a few months ago and I didn't write it down, but it was something that did not exist. It was like, say for instance, Genesis 110 verse 3. And then I went to look it up and I was like, it's not in the Bible. What is that? And then I was talking to someone and they told me that happened to them and that's the devil. And I was like, okay, this is confirmation that everything that I'm hearing very, very clear is not of God. But anyway, I feel like...
Well, that is crazy because the average person like me who doesn't know all the Psalms 22 would think that God was speaking to them. And they're like, oh yeah, God love me.
Right,
but really,
right.
like, no. Like, oh, like all the bad things that I just did and all the bad thoughts I just had, actually, he's fine with it. So that's interesting.
I feel like God meets us where we are. I hate that some people feel like, oh, some people are closer to God than I am, which is something that I say too, but...
Yeah, it is kind of weird every time you say it.
It's like, no, God has his chosen few, and those are his people. Such is the life that we live. I mean, I feel like that was great to like dig into that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I don't hear either one of them when I be asleep because I be asleep. You know that. I be knocked out. So whoever trying to get me in my sleep, unless it's my sleep paralysis.
That's
I do have bad
definitely
sleep paralysis.
You do.
No,
and what's crazy is...
Okay, so let me tell you a story. So the other day, I was flying from somewhere to somewhere, and I woke up with the flight attendant and a doctor asking me if I was okay, with an old man sitting next to me petting my leg because I was screaming across the whole plane in my sleep. But it's the sleep paralysis. It's very scary.
Yeah, it is. And that is a whole other thing to dig into because that is definitely demonic.
But also, go get me a Coca-Cola and mind your business. Like, I paid for this flight and I was screaming the whole damn flight. Girl, okay? I was so annoyed with her. Because then she was like, you're okay, right? You're just a little special. I'm like, no, girl, I'm not special.
You should say, yes, I'm special.
I'm thirsty. Ask the right questions. What are you here for?
Yo, you're hilarious.
Did I tell you I went skydiving?
No.
Yeah, I went with the white boy at work because he's like a daredevil. And he bet me I wouldn't go, and I was like, book it right now. And then we literally went the next day.
Skydiving?
I cried on my drive home because I was so sad to be back on Earth.
Like you went into a plane?
I went into a plane. And there was a man jumped. He was attached to my back.
Did you take a picture?
I have a video, but I haven't watched it yet.
I cannot believe you did that.
It was amazing.
Really? I would never do that.
I would do it again.
I love that for you. You should do it for me. I'll be on the ground like, hey.
No, it was really, really, really nice and peaceful. I felt so free. But the moment I touched back down, I was stressed again. I was like, oh, goddamn.
You were stressed once you hit...
Right when I hit the ground, I was instantly stressed again.
Wait, I'm confused.
It was like when I jumped out of the plane and I was floating in the air, I was like free.
Oh, wow.
Like, I felt like I had no worries.
So you definitely want to do it again.
Yeah, but also... I'm like, damn, I shouldn't be so stressed. Like, I got a lot of problems. What's this 1-800 number calling for? You know what I mean? So I'm trying to like clean up my life a little bit.
What is some advice you would give someone aspiring to do what you're doing or working in the industry, like fresh blood?
It's hard because it's so different now. Like when we were in college, like we had to intern for free. You had to have big name stuff on your resume.
Had to.
Like people weren't just becoming famous over the internet every day and you know what I mean, and having their own brands and being able to be in business for themselves. It was all about having to like climb this big mountain and start at the bottom. So for me, like there was a point where I was literally had 3 jobs when I was in college. So I feel like it's different now. The younger people who come into work now, and I'm just like...
And so entitled.
Right. And I just had this conversation yesterday because he's my friend at work, but I'm like, you're literally so entitled, and not only because you're white. It's literally just because you think that you belong everywhere. Because the internet has given the new generation so much access to everything that is cool. They can Google anything. You can jump a lot of steps now. YouTube University.
The YouTube University thing, not that I don't use YouTube University, though. It's a little contradicting, I guess. But when I was in school, we had to learn how to edit in school. Do you know how many $30,000 that I had to spend a year on school?
What else do we do in school that we don't need?
Everything.
Everything. I know, that's so sad. And it's like, do they even ask for college degrees anymore? Not unless you're going to be the president.
That is a real question.
You heard they found cocaine at the White House?
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, duh. It's 2023.
Yeah, no, but exactly. It's insane. But I don't know. It's just crazy. I feel like for me, I had 3 internships at once. I had 3 different internships my senior year because I was like stacking them up. And I was working for free. And I was driving up and down Atlanta streets for free. Okay. Shout out to Genya, though. But honestly, like, that was a time.
Yeah, it was a time. And now when I, like, think back on it, I think that my advice would be to come and want to work in entertainment because there's something that you want to do.
Right.
Not just because it's fun and it's cool and you think that you're going to like your job and you think you're going to meet cool people and you're
right.
Now looking back, I'm like, I meet so many people and I'm just like, okay, hey, would you like water? Someone pays, but I don't want to go to the parties with my boss. I don't want to go do this. I don't want to go do that. So now I'm like, because of the kind of role that I have and the kind of work I do, I could be making double the money working for a rich white lady.
Right.
Who's just the CEO of a bank or something. So I would say my advice would be to know what you're coming to do. Mm-hmm. Like have a goal set in mind and know which part of entertainment you want to be a part of and work towards that. Not saying you can't divert from that, but entertainment people tend to use people for what they want to use them for.
Right.
And they'll drain you of all your energy and it's just like, here, just take my skin at this point. And they're going to get all your good and leave you with your bad. So...
and make you feel bad for your bad.
And unless you're working towards a goal, it's very easy to get caught up in people pleasing and thinking that you're a part of this big organization and this big person, and they make you feel like you're special. Like these jobs make you feel like you're special, you're the chosen one, when the truth is girl, it's somebody right over here ready to do it. Not as good as me, but they'll do it. So that's my advice. What's your advice?
My advice would be not to work for your favorites. To be honest, no one that you look up to, like you shouldn't have idols, obviously, in life, but I'm just saying, like, if there's anyone that you super look up to and you're like, oh my gosh, you're so great, let them be great in your head.
Right.
Leave them alone. Don't work with them because you're going to see the real person. And not to say that I had horrible experiences because I didn't, but it just makes things different. And that's probably not real advice, but...
you begin to question everything.
You question every single thing.
The thing is, with working in entertainment, people are one way online and on Instagram and on the TikTok, and they're a completely different way in person.
Yeah. They're a complete different person in real life, and it's also like they are actual human beings that get upset, that get sad.
They are human beings that get upset, and they all have to put on this show for online, which is why I don't have any social media, and which is why I'm this, like, it has taught me to be authentic to myself, and I'm just always the same way. Whether I'm with you, whether I'm with my family, whether I'm with my white friends, whether I'm with it's like, I'm always the same way.
Just so everyone knows, Jonathan is not prejudiced or racist in any way. He just likes to call white people out.
Wait, what did I say?
No, you're just always talking to white people.
Did I say? What did I say about them?
You said like 3 different things with white people.
I have white friends. And they like me. There ain't no white people listening anyway.
You're literally crazy. Okay, anyway, I think real advice that I would give them, though, I feel like real advice that I would give someone that's trying to come up in the industry is to work hard because you are passionate about it. You love entity it be that you would be going after, whether it's music or TV or film or whatever. I feel like if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to be happy. And there's going to be something you're going to complain about along the line. Not that you won't be unhappy or find something to complain about if you were moving in just passion, but it's just a constant reminder of why you're doing it. If this is something that you're just considering, I'd say pass on it.
Interesting. Yeah, just to piggyback off of that, for me, I know that I'm going to work and I'm doing a good job for me. I'm servicing my boss, but I'm doing a good job for me. So people at work get annoyed. Sometimes they're like, why do you have to do it like this? Or why does everything have to be perfect like this? Or why do you have to be like this? No one even cares. And I'm like, but I care.
Right. And that's something I could definitely attest. Like,
I care, so that's all that matters. And sometimes it bites me in the foot because I'm like, okay, girl, you mad? It don't matter. I'm happy about it. And then I forget that I'm not actually working for myself. But I'm working on my, issues there with authority.
My last boss told me, Sasha, I think you should just be working for yourself.
Oops.
And I'm like, I said nothing because they weren't lying.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
Yeah, they definitely said that to me, but I just work hard and I'm very passionate, right? So just like you said, I'm not doing this because of any specific person or reason. I'm just going hard because I want it to be done right and I want it to be right.
I think that sometimes what happens, especially with us, is that people get caught up in our delivery and not the message.
Right.
And it's like, I don't always have the capacity to deliver every single thing I'm telling you in a nice, friendly, nice way with a bow on it. I'm not ripping you off the plastic. Sometimes I'm annoyed, sometimes I'm busy, sometimes I'm frustrated. So it's like people get so caught up in well, it's the way you're talking to me. And I'm like, but did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
If you heard what I said, now I'm even more mad. If you thought I was talking to you crazy then, just wait. Now I'm even more mad.
Right. I agree with you. I couldn't agree more, actually, because sometimes, but people say the look on my face, or it's been a constant thing my whole entire life. So it's not just one person saying any of this stuff to me. Let's be very clear. But yeah, it's not necessarily my intention.
Yeah, exactly.
And it kind of hurts my feelings sometimes when you feel like I'm trying to hurt your feelings. And I'm like, but why would I want to hurt your feelings? I'm just trying to do my job. And it's like, I'm also doing 10 things that you don't know about. So blah.
And you also put your pants on one leg at a time. So I'm delivering this the same way I deliver it to anybody else. But people in entertainment, because they have these cool jobs, get shielded from the real world. They don't ever get treated like a real person. Celebrities don't. So it's like when you're not even being rude, you're just being real. They don't know how to take that.
Yeah.
For me, as much as I do for everybody else, I'm constantly being accused of being a mean girl or having an attitude. And I'm like, but I'm fine.
Listen, I've been called an angry Black woman. But listen, I feel like I've also evolved a bit, especially in these last couple of months.
Yeah.
Things don't affect me as much as they used to.
I also think that we are Black women and that's how we express ourselves. So it's like, I'm not going to just smile when I'm mad. I'm going to show you that I'm mad, especially if I value you and I value our relationship. I want to be honest about that.
Yeah.
But, whatever. We're going down the rabbit hole, so.
I mean, it's a part of it, right? And I just feel like it's been hard, okay? It's been hard. It's been hard. It's been hard. It's been hard.
These people will send you to church on Sunday. Just know that. They will send you to church on Sunday.
You're hilarious. What's crazy is I don't even have a church that I go to. But I kind of wanted to dabble in fasting in a bit.
Okay, not eating?
Yeah.
Girl, do you see how big I am right now?
No, okay. So basically, I feel like on this journey that I've been in within the last few months, even up to the last year, I feel like the one thing that has helped me become closer to God and this whole transition that I had as well is fasting.
Fasting from what?
Fasting means to be fasting from food, according to the Bible. Fasting means you're not eating food for a certain period of time.
Right. If I gotta be hungry for God.
Don't do it.
God, but he already know. I don't even gotta say it, and the people know. If I gotta be hungry for God, he just gotta stay up there and I gotta stay down here, and it's just because I'm not missing no Chick-fil-A sandwich to get into church.
That's not how it works. Okay, so
I
you're
am
making
only skipping meals for Lamar and them.
You're making a sacrifice, right, for something that, let's say, you're praying for, right? Mm-hmm. And it could be a baby fast. And
well, how long
you
did
should
you
also
fast?
stop it. You should also stop it because there has been times where you don't eat.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is when you're making a commitment to God and that's like, okay, I am not eating because of whatever understanding you and God have. Mm-hmm. You're not eating, and that can be 3 hours, that can be 4 hours, that can be 6 hours, that can be 8 hours.
How long have you gone?
From eating? Mm-hmm. Maybe 14 hours.
Oh, you and God is best friends.
No, people do. Like, I have a friend that will fast for days and just have water. And then there are people that do fast that you can basically, what is it? Like, there's no water, no food.
Okay, well, let's start a fast today.
Mm-hmm. Fasting is, let me tell you.
I could do it.
I know you can. I know you were just playing.
Yeah, I was just playing.
Starve yourself for fun.
For fun, exactly.
So that, in a sense, is quote unquote, yes, fasting, but that's not religious fasting. Or religious is such a touchy word for me, but I just feel like when it comes to what you're doing with God, like, look, the Muslims fast, mm-hmm. the Jews fast. Like, I feel like everyone does it, but according to the Bible, you're not supposed to tell people when you're fasting. It's supposed to be a secret between you and God and whoever else you're fasting with, right?
Okay.
So, for instance, well, you would have to read Isaiah 58. And why do I know that? Because when I first started fasting, I had to read that every single time. They are basically saying that your fasting should be a secret. It should be a commitment between you and God, and like you're devoting yourself to God and whatever your sacrifices, right? Or whatever it is that you're praying for, or if that's just closeness or whatever to God. You know what I mean?
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So when you're fasting, when you get hungry, and obviously you'll have water, but when you're hungry, you're supposed to be praying or reading the Bible. Oh. That's supposed to be the food that you eat.
Oh, fun.
The Bible or praying, whatever, as you do the journey or whatnot. But I can definitely say, I'm not even trying to be funny. When I left my last job, whatever it was.
Girl, because LinkedIn doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't for me. So even if you check my LinkedIn, you ain't gonna see it.
No, seriously.
But literally, when I left my last job, it was a day after my fast ended. Like a month of fasting ended. And the next day, I knew what it was. And that's what changed my life, bro. I'm trying to tell you. Like, when you pray for stuff and you ask God to, like, remove the people and the things, they are removed. Like, I kid you not, the next day was the day that I was like, I'm tired. And I'm like, I'm trying. It was hard. I was bawling. I was shaking because I knew, like, it's the end of the road.
Well, that's the best way to go out.
What, crying and shaking?
Yeah. And on your own terms. You were still connected to it and you loved it, but you had to let it go. So
yeah. And I must say, like, one of the best decisions that I made for myself.
Right.
I'm not even gonna get into that right now. But yes, for sure. But for me, I had to realize, like, it got to the point where, like, I would do like 3-4 hour, I'll do a fast till noon. Or I'll do a fast till 3. They became very easy for me. So then it's like 6 o'clock. Like, do you remember that time when you were like, were you fasting? Why did you say you couldn't eat?
Yeah, I was like, what is she doing? What is going on over there?
But you're not supposed to tell people when you're fasting because then, according to the Bible...
Well, then it feels like, yeah, I'm fasting with God. Like,
you're more connected than you think.
Oh, I know I'm connected. I know.
As you should. But that's literally what the Bible says. Like, you shouldn't tell people that you're fasting because you're trying to be boasty and you're trying to, like, show off and you're trying to show, like, I'm better than you because I'm religious.
Right.
and I'm fasting and you're not. And me and God have this thing. But the Bible says that's the only reward you'll get from your fast is you trying to be proud and showing off. But, I feel like the more you fast, though, the easier that it gets. So then the harder you have to make it. I was doing a corporate fast. Corporate fast meaning that I did it with a lot of people.
Oh, okay. Random people?
Huh?
Like, you met them on the internet? Like, where did you meet them? Craigslist fasting? What the hell?
No, so long story short, it's a ministry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's kind of like that.
Okay.
The fast is crazy. Like at first it was, I would just stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning and then we would all get on the prayer line and pray or whatever. And like since this year, when we fast, 3 days, all I'm eating is raw fruits and vegetables. It's crazy. But I've gotten used to it.
Right.
But when I first did it, like it flushed out like,
Ooh, no, not the Snickers bar from 3rd grade.
Literally. But anyways, like it's been great. That's one thing I'm gonna say, like hands down, want to see some movements.
Right.
It's the fasting for sure. I've seen some stuff happen. But anyways, we won't get too deep in it. But this was great.
Yeah.
Thanks for being my first like co-host or test dummy.
Of course. Do we have enough sound bites?
Oh. I'm sure we could kind of.
We are.
But we'll build off of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, duh.
Yeah. But Jonathan has no social media.
I do not.
So
I'm very proud of that.
I'm proud of you for that. Even though you be knowing what's going on.
I do be knowing what's going on because I'm tapped in.
Exactly.
But the people can't find me.
That's okay, because I don't even have it. And I've known him for years. So that just goes to show.
Yeah. Like, I can't do it.
But that's why mine is private and he can't find me either.
Right. Exactly.
So we're there. Thank you for joining and...
Thank you and God for having me.
Stop it.
Seriously.
So God is my co-host?
Yeah, hey.
Screaming.
You probably can't hear him because he whispers, but,
Okay, yay, great.
Wait, thank you.
Thank you so much. Honestly, thanks.